I'm Mike Swanbaum, and I am one of the leaders of a project called Complete. This is a project that is focused on trying to promote a particular skill set among young people, typically high schoolers, that promote a skill set in those students that will get them started on the possibility of having a career dealing with, maintaining, even implementing instrumentation and control systems, which are incredibly valuable in industrial settings. Early in the process of learning what you need to know for industrial instrumentation and control involves a good amount of circuits theory. And for that reason, it's actually valuable for other types of endeavors as well, including things like being more of an electrician type of a person, or even going on into something like engineering, electrical engineering, that kind of thing. Learning these fundamentals are useful in a number of different areas. What we've done is we've also added a lot of hands-on projects that will go along with the theory. For example, might be cruise control. So in your car, you know how fast you want to be going, and you tell your cruise control how fast that is you want to be going. Then the cruise control is able to give the car more accelerator or less accelerator in order to keep the car going at the right speed, even if you're going up and down hills. It's able to monitor your current speed and cause it to do what it needs to do. We're going to give them examples of setting up systems like that. In addition to that main piece, which is the curriculum, we also have partnered with a number of industrial partners, and those partners are setting up various types of field trips, as well as another thing that we sometimes call lunch and learns, where basically the students who are involved in the project, not only do they get to see this field from the standpoint of their curriculum, they get to see what it looks like for professionals who actually do this work in practice. So they get to see it in field trips in various plants, or if we do lunch and learns, they might be able to get a perspective from someone who works in this kind of field and hear what they do, what kind of stuff they make, and how instrumentation and controls feeds into what they do on a day-to-day basis. We also have certain scholarships to try to help students along to get going in this, in this career path. And so, these are some of the benefits that accrue to the students who choose to become a part of it. Students who might be most successful and enjoy this program the most are probably students that enjoy hands-on kind of activities. They should enjoy building things to some level. It's not a huge level, but some level, putting things together into a system that actually works. But the other side of it is there is a small level of math that they have to be comfortable with. And so we recommend that students have algebra, at least algebra 1, and probably at least an interest in or currently taking an algebra 2 class, because there is a small amount of math. It's not overly burdensome, but it is a little bit of math that they're going to need to be able to deal with in that course. It is very applied, and so I don't think some students get thrown off a little bit by math that's too overly theoretical. We're very applied here, but there is some level of skill that's needed there with respect to the math. Students who like the idea of working in an industrial type of a setting would probably be interested in a course like this. And one thing to think about there is that in order to earn a good living, in order to earn a good wage whenever you finish with high school, it's important that you have a skill set that is going to be useful somewhere. And so that's one of the things we're very confident in this program, that it is going to get students started along a field that has proven that it has demand. So there is demand for workers in this area that are able to maintain and able to sort of understand what is going on with all these instrumentation and control systems that help to control these plants, because there's such a demand, that's a lot of job security as well as promise of good earning for students who are able to get to some level of skill in this area. All right, there are multiple things that a person who has gotten started in this field, there's multiple opportunities that are out there for them to do. And so I'm going to describe the pathways to get there. One of them is you can, after finishing this high school curriculum, it will launch you directly into taking a 2-year instrumentation program, industrial instrumentation program, at a 2-year institution. And of course, Louisiana Delta Community College is one of the partners on this project, and so there is certainly an opportunity to go directly into that, but there are also opportunities to go to other 2-year schools as well. And what you get going to a 2-year school is a certification that will allow you to go in and work as what's often called an instrument technician. And an instrument technician is going to be focused on trying to look at all of the instruments, which are basically things that measure things in a plant type of a setting. Look at those kinds of things and try to, for any of them that may seem like they aren't working, do some basic troubleshooting and get them back to where they are working the way they should have worked in the first place. And so those are kind of the 2-year opportunities. And I should mention that this curriculum, if a student completes it kind of completely, then what it does is it gives them credit at Louisiana Delta Community College and gets them started in that educational path. That credit that they get at Louisiana Delta Community College, if they get it, that is actually articulable over to Louisiana Tech University to, if someone's interested in doing a 4-year program that is kind of similar. So we have a 4-year program at Louisiana Tech University called Instrumentation and Control Systems Engineering Technology. And it is similar in terms of the types of things that are studied to the 2-year program. What's different is it covers those topics at a more kind of foundational and fundamental level. And that is often helpful to enable a student to be able to dig deeper into a troubleshooting task, or do things like make overall system improvements in a little bit more of a free way. So you imagine I could replace something with something else and have enough fundamental confidence in order to be able to make those kinds of decisions in an industrial setting. So that's a 4-year degree that is available from Louisiana Tech University that is also a really good opportunity that students might want to look at whenever they're thinking about going into a field like this. I do highly recommend this program for anyone who likes technical things, so likes to get into how does something work. If you've taken things apart as a kid, that might be a good sign that you're someone who would be interested in a program like this. If you like some level of robotics, you might be interested in a program like this. Even if you're not interested in any of those things, most of us are at least interested in earning a good living. And this is a great field. It's got a lot of opportunity in order to help someone get their feet on the ground in terms of a career. Plants all over the world use technology like this. And one thing that's really awesome about this is that regardless of what industry you think you might be going into, the types of equipment that those industries use they tend to be very similar to each other. So let's say you got your career started working in some sort of a chemical process. Well, if that industry dries up some, which this happens for many industries, sometimes they're hot and sometimes they're not, the skills that you've developed in the instrumentation and controls aspect of that industry is typically transferable to other industries. So you might go into some more of a mechanical manufacturing type of an industry, let's say like a wood products industry or something like that. those same skills that you learned and used in the chemical industry are often very transferable over to other industries. And so it gives people a secure career path, and again, there's so much demand for these types of workers currently in the market that we're very confident that anyone who's just interested in jump-starting and sort of kick-starting a career along a path that looks like it's just going to have nothing but more and more opportunities, I highly recommend it to those kind of students.